Oh, Harold. How nice of you to join me. Me love you a long, long time. So yeah, this is a fucking Harley Streetglide. Super fucking stoked to be on this thing. I've finally gotten used to it after the last couple days of riding it. I tell you what, man, going from one of the lightest sport bikes on the market to hopping on one of these motherfuckers, dude. Oh my gosh. What the fuck are you doing? To fucking go! Jesus Christ. I don't know what it is, but every time I do a fucking review, someone's being fucking stupid. Oh wait. So yeah, this is the review of the Harley Streetglide that Mark's got. Tuesday, when I did the review for the R1, I traded keys with him over at Brian S1K's house, and picked this up for a couple days. So far, it's been fucking awesome. Definitely something you have to really get used to, and I was talking about it the other day with, I think I was talking with Brian, talking about how when you ride a motorcycle, one of the biggest things over, my learning experience has been you have to be confident in what you ride and how you ride. Because if you're not confident in the actions that you take and how you actually drive, actually steer the bike and handle the bike, you're going to hesitate. And that plays off of the saying that I've always gone by, even driving cars, is hesitation causes car accidents. So don't hesitate, and take the proper actions and everything. I mean, take the safe actions, obviously. But so when I got the keys for the Streetglide, it was I was very unsure for the first day I had it. I was obviously not used to such a big bike. I mean, this is double the weight of anything that I've ridden previously. I think Mark said that the wet operating rate is around 1,000 pounds. So you want to talk about a big motherfucking bike? I mean, this is fucking it. So the competency level for me was pretty low, but now that I've gotten used to it, it's been pretty good. On to the review. So, well, that's fucking weird. So I'll start off just like I did with the R1. Rider comfort is fucking through the roof. This bike is, obviously it's a cruiser bike, so it's meant for comfort. It's not really meant for handling track day stuff, although I would love to fucking see people do a track day on a fucking Streetglide. That would be insane. Fucking typical Harley, trying to get into neutral at a light, and then all of a sudden the light changes. The bar distance from seat position, obviously your hands are out in front of you, like most cruisers. The bar distance from like your seat position is really comfortable. My arms, I'm 6 foot tall. My arms are stretched just out far enough to where I feel like I'm sitting kind of like in a recliner that's got really tall armrests. And the bars are angled in at a nice, comfortable, natural holding position. My only qualm with riding position with the bar setup is I don't really feel, because it's got such a big fairing up front, I don't really feel too much body wind, which is a good thing for if you're going to be doing any cruising. But on a hot day, I actually have to put my hand over here to the left side of the bike outside the fairing and have air go up my sleeve into my jacket whenever it gets hot. So because you're behind most of the motorcycle, The body position for cooling off really kind of sucks. I've seen stuff like, not the Honda fucking Gold Wings and whatnot that have fucking AC built into the side panels and stuff like that. This bike obviously doesn't have that because it's kind of a bare bones setup, So rider comfort, seat-wise, is awesome. The seat really hugs you. It's really comfortable. I mean, obviously, Mark's put around 7,000 miles on this bike already since he picked it up. And, I mean, the seat has obviously been broken in, but it is really, really comfortable just to sit on. And you want to talk about minimal effort to drive it. I mean, there's barely any kind of effort that I have to put into actually steering the bike at speed. So slower speeds is a completely different story. You're having to muscle it around. Passenger comfort has been pretty nice. Melissa really enjoyed riding on it. We took her out for a Wednesday night bike night yesterday. So she really enjoyed being on the back of it. The biggest thing for her is that she enjoyed being able to sit upright instead of hunched over like towards my back like it was on the R1. They do make all kinds of kits that go onto the back of these bikes for different styles of seats and seat backs, like what would be considered a sissy bar. I've seen ones that have like full-on armrests and everything that fold out of the way to be able to get on and off the bike. So there's really, I mean, it's Harley, so there's really a lot of different options you can get for your seating stuff. Leg position seating wise, I do believe this is actually true forward controls. I made the mistake of saying forward controls on Jeff's 883, but I was corrected, and that was mid controls. My legs are forward. My feet are up, heading up into the tank, like below the tank. This Streetglide's got a rocker shift on it, so it's got a toe down and heel up instead of your typical toe up, toe down. And then it's got your toe foot brake. This bike does have floorboards or running boards instead of actual pegs, which I found to be pretty comfortable in comparison with like Jeff's bike. But at the same time, this is supposed to be a street cruiser that it's supposed to be comfortable, so it definitely is. But like I said, the only qualm that I've had thus far has just been not being able to feel enough air. Center dash and front display stuff has been pretty awesome. It's got a what the fuck, man? What are you? This guy's just like trying to like fucking. I'm doing 60. The center dash display is really awesome. It's got a fuel gauge on the left, my top speed and odometer, or my speedometer, and then the odometer reading and the digital display underneath it. To the center right is the RPM gauge that reads by 100s. Oh my god, what the fuck, man. Every time I do a review, this shit happens. Something's fucking going on with traffic and someone's being fucking stupid. And then to the far right is the electronics, the voltage meter and everything. Down below, you guys may not be able to see it. It's got a full touchscreen built-in navigation. It looks, I want to say it's like a 5-inch screen or so. Has dedicated home button, favorites button, a dedicated navigation button, and then a power and mute button. Like I said, all the on-screen controls are all touch. And then actually on the bike, they actually have thumb controls that you can actually use to navigate while you're actually driving, so you don't have to take a hand off, which I thought was pretty sweet. It took me a minute to get used to those because you got to kind of learn which. They're two little tiny joysticks. You have to learn what directions of the joysticks do what, but once you do, it's pretty simple to use. So far, I've used the navigation once, and it was great. It provided me all the directions. The navigation unit itself will actually let you search by phone number, which I thought was pretty cool. It wasn't just locked into a point of interest or a straight address. So it'll let you do that, and then they'll let you do the basics by city functions and fucking butterfly. Thumb controls for the bike, pretty comfortable. I've had to reach a little bit just because these grips are so big. I've really had to reach for the thumb blinkers a couple times. But it's got the standard setup for cruiser control. and with the addition of literal cruise control. The bike actually has an electronic cruise control, which I thought was fucking awesome. Performance-wise, the bike is it's a fuel-injected 103, so it's got a 103 cubic inch motor. I think Mark said that equated out to roughly 17 or 1800 cc's. But on a bike that weighs this much, I mean, it's powerful and it's there when you need it, but at the same time, it's not overkill. It's not like a massive motor and a tiny frame. I mean, this is a pretty big bike. It's got 6 gears, which actually on the odometer, that was a nice sounding Mustang. On the odometer, it'll actually show you right below, like right now I'm in 5th. That took me a full day to figure out where the fuck that was. I don't know why I didn't see it before and didn't pay attention, but when you pull the clutch in, the number disappears. And generally, when I'm trying to figure out what gear I'm in, I have the clutch in. So when the clutch is out, the gear indicator tells you where you're at. So I thought that was kind of weird. I feel like if they just left it on the whole time, it would make a lot more sense as the gears engage down. But I wasn't even fucking paying attention, but alright. It's got a fucking massive gas tank. I really don't know what size the tank is. There's a finger trigger over here on the left side that lets you toggle through the odometer. And on the odometer, it shows your basic trip stuff, but it also tells you your mileage remaining that's on this tank. So, like right now, I'm just above a quarter of a tank, and it's telling me I've got around 79 miles to go. I thought that was a really cool feature. Instead of trying to do the math in your head on the fly, like when you need to stop and pull over, and especially if you're going to be on long trips with something like this, it's nice to have. That was a fucking massive bug. I hope you guys heard that. I have no fucking clue what that was. On really long trips, I have a feeling that kind of a reassurance that you know exactly how many miles you've got left on long in between, like on I-20 going out to Arkansas when I go to visit family. There's a couple spots where I know it's dead for gas stations, so I fill up beforehand. So that's nice to know that you've got that meter. The mirrors are awesome for this bike. I really enjoyed the fact that they're just inside the fairing, but they poke out just a little bit. Fully adjustable, obviously. You can position for however far out you want them to go. I left them how Mark had them set up. You can just barely see the ends of your gloves, and then right behind the bike and into either lane, whatever is on either side of you. With an upright seating position like this, on like a cruiser style bike, when you turn, you can actually see dead over your shoulder. So it makes spot checking really, really, really easy. So I generally didn't even really use the mirrors unless we were riding in a group together. The biggest thing that I found with this whole front facade setup and the front that front fairing, if you run any kind of a dual sport helmet or anything that has any sort of visor up top, the way the wind comes over it, and this is I think he said this was an aftermarket windshield, but I can't really remember off the top. He said he had another one that was taller, but with the particular windscreen that's on here, a shorter windscreen, I can see dead over the top of it, but at the same time, the wind that comes over the front is actually hitting me in the top of the helmet, which is vibrating my visor really bad. And at like 70 plus miles an hour, my entire helmet vibrates, which is really hard to like pay attention to the road because your eyeballs are literally vibrating. It feels like you're on a plane that's got turbulence. It's nuts. So that was my only real issue with the front fairing setup. The bike is keyless, so all you have to do is just have the key in your pocket. It's got a transmitter sensor on it, so the bike senses when the key is with it. This is the on-off ignition and fork lock right here. You do not have to have the key to engage the fork lock and everything, or to turn to the fork lock, but then you have to have the key to actually lock it in place. I did not know that the first time I tried to lock the forks, and I had an interesting time trying to figure it out. So performance of the bike is really awesome. I've got on it a couple times, and it's got some fucking get up and go. I don't know if he's got stock exhaust on here or not, but the ones that are on here sound fucking amazing. It is just that nice deep rumble, and that's not poppy, which is what I enjoy about a cruiser. I like a nice deep throaty rumble on it. I don't like the the as it comes out. Yeah, you guys a replay as it comes out. But the bike, as you can see, has got built-in speakers up front, and you can turn it on and off with thumb switches. You can turn the volume down. You can actually mute it with the power button, so you can actually listen to whatever you want. It will Bluetooth pair to your phone or media device, which is really cool. So if you've got any kind of like iPod audio or whatnot, you can Bluetooth pair it, and then it'll play through the speakers as well. It's got a massive antenna on the back of the bike for FM radio. And here in Georgia, 97.1 plays all the classic radio stuff, which I felt was necessary to be on this bike. And the sound quality sounds great. Even with your helmet visor down, you can still hear everything, up past like half volume. But it really makes a difference when you pull your visor up just a hair. All the sound can come straight in. This bike, I'm not sure if the Streetglide comes stock with them or not, but I'm kind of pertaining to what Mark has as my review. He does have dual saddlebags on it. They are a hard shell, and they're color matched, so I assume it is an option for this. They are huge. Oh my gosh. If you ride a cruiser and you've got a half shell helmet, the half shell helmet will fit straight inside with plenty of room to spare. I think when we went out, me and Melissa went out riding yesterday, we were able to fit both of our jackets plus our gloves and 2 bottles of water and all of my visor, mine, Jeff's, and her clear visors, all in one saddlebag. The other saddlebag has Mark's half shell in it, so we were trying to keep from using that one. So the saddlebags really do have a shitload of capacity. I don't know what the true spec is. I may put it in the description below and let you guys know, or just put a link to this bike onto like a Harley dealer or something. Let's go front end lights all the way around. The headlights are what appear to be high intensity diodes. And yet again, like I said, I'm not sure if they're stock or not, but what he has on this bike, they look fucking awesome. They also have the halos around the blinkers up front. And when I'm pulling up to the back of a car at night or something like that, it's really cool to be able to see the whole front of the bike in the back of that car. The headlights are bright as fuck. I actually never had to run the brights. Just because it's so big. I think up front it's like a 7-inch light, and I think it's got 4 HIDs in it. So you can imagine fucking 4 HIDs and 1 light pointing forward. It's a shitload of light. I have ridden this bike in the rain. It does block most of the water towards your body, but it does not block anything for your legs. So both legs of my shoes got completely fucking soaked, and after probably maybe 5 minutes of just like this torrential downpour, I was eventually sitting in a puddle. I know for some bikes that they do make crash cage or crash bars that have the blocks, like the leather straps over them. So that can kind of help block some of the water. And then Melissa said that being a passenger, because I and the fairing were in front of her, she didn't really get that wet, except for on like her shoulders and whatnot, because the passenger sits just a little bit higher than the driver. Speaking of rain, I guess it just rained. I'm glad that I decided to do that after I went to class. Shifting and everything on this bike is pretty straightforward and simple, because it carries so much weight. When you actually, like when you're shifting from say like second to third, the bike actually coasts really nice when you pull your clutch in and go for your shifting. There's no like front surging or anything like that. But the shitty part about it is classic cruiser / Harley style. When you pull up to a light, finding neutral really fucking sucks. Some people say that on cruisers and Harleys and stuff, they don't even try, they don't even bother. mainly just because it's such a big bike that if anything were to happen where you needed to get it out of the way quickly, being in neutral on such a big bike would hinder that ability. What else do we got? Obviously, with it being a Harley, there's all kinds of fucking upgrades you can get. They do all sorts of little part updates and stuff where you can get like a parts kit that kind of completes a look all the way around the bike. You can get aftermarket exhaust setups and pipes and stuff. With this being such a big bike, I have a feeling that they would probably cost a little bit more than, say, something like Jeff's 883, because it's a much bigger bike, so there's going to be the size of the components are going to be bigger. I think Mark said that this bike retail runs around 22 to 23. So if you're looking at getting a Streetglide, the biggest thing that I would say is that ride something much smaller and slowly step up if you get the chance. I was very uncomfortable going from riding small sport bikes, to getting on this for the first full-size cruiser. Oh, shifted down. That's why I'm not used to this fucking rocker shifter. So if you're going to get up to something this big, definitely get some experience on something just a hair smaller, because the weight of this bike is really unruly when you're needing to ride slow or park it. While driving, it's a dream. It's super simple to handle. I mean, it'll go wherever you want it to, but riding slow really fucking sucks. I did not enjoy having to pull up the stoplights and park this thing in parking spaces and fucking push this thing backwards. I mean, it is a heavy motherfucker. Now, like I said, with that being the subject matter, when I rode Jeff's bike for the first couple times, I had the same issue. I felt very out of place with moving the bike at slow speeds. It wasn't comfortable. It was hard to manage. But that, in comparison to this bike, is nothing. Jeff's bike, being an 883 iron, obviously is a much smaller profile. I mean, it's 1,000 cc's less than this thing. So it was obviously a much lighter bike. I mean, that's about it for the review, guys. I don't really feel like I've missed much of anything. The bike is pretty self-explanatory, especially for being a cruiser. It's just really brought forth some understanding of why the older generation buys these bikes. I mean, if you've got if you're a pretty burly dude, I mean, this bike is super comfortable, even just for me. And I weigh about 170, so the bike is I can manage it just because I know that I need to be careful with it. But I could totally see a much larger person being on this and not really having that much of an issue getting used to it and taking care of business. So if you guys are looking at a Harley Streetglide, I definitely suggest it. If you've got multiple years of motorcycling under your belt, you don't necessarily have to have any kind of cruiser in between. If you're looking at getting one, like obviously I've only ridden Jeff's since he's had it in February, so I mean, I can't really say that I've got crazy experience with him, but I know how his handles, so I kind of expected it to be just heavier. So this is the Harley Streetglide 103. I'll drop the year in the description, that way you guys can know the exact details of what this bike I'm riding. But other than that, man, you guys take it easy. Thanks for watching, and let me know what you guys think down below. And if you guys have a Streetglide, let me know what you guys have on it. I think it'd be really cool to see what you guys ride in comparison with this one, and let me know how you guys feel. So you guys take it easy, all right? I'm getting out of here. Deuce.